Duncan's accident still has an effect on the Lewis family in chapter 1676, and they are struggling with shame and regret over their part in the sad incident. Zachary and Josh ask Mr. Lewis questions in an effort to learn the complete circumstances behind the event. Duncan had been drinking the night before, says Mr. Lewis, who is laboring under the weight of his family's deeds. His mother found out he was still drunk when she called him in the morning. This sparked a conflict between Duncan and his mother, which resulted in tense exchanges. Duncan fled the house in an effort to end the argument. This action ultimately resulted in the sad disaster. Mrs. Lewis impulsively followed her son as he drove off because she was worried about his safety and disagreed with his pursuit of liberty. Mr. Lewis joined her in the pursuit in an effort to mediate the conflict. Inadvertently encouraging Duncan to speed up, the family's attempts to stop him led to the crash with a big truck at the traffic light intersection. Mr. Lewis bears a huge sense of guilt throughout this disclosure and expresses regret for their deeds and the effects they had on Duncan's life. Offering Mr. Lewis words of consolation, Zachary and Josh assure him that Duncan will recover from his wounds. They also emphasize Duncan's capacity for emotional resilience and his will to persevere in the face of difficulty. As they talk about Duncan's connection with liberty, Mr. Lewis expresses his want for his son to be content and self sufficient. He acknowledges Duncan as a responsible adult who ought to be allowed to make his own decisions in life, especially when it comes to issues of the heart. Mr. Lewis considers the past and laments the way the family got in the way of Duncan's love life. Josh agrees, stressing that emotional decisions should be left to the parties involved, especially if they are adults with the capacity to do so. Mr. Lewis is reassured by him that Duncan truly loves liberty and that they should respect his decisions. Zachary sheds light on Liberty's emotions, revealing that she sees Duncan as a friend and doesn't have any hidden agendas. He contends that Duncan and Liberty ought to be free to manage their relationship without intrusion from outside parties. This chapter clarifies the intricacies of family dynamics and the effects of excessive parental control. It also emphasizes how fragile Duncan's emotional state is, especially in light of potential long term physical difficulties brought on by his leg injury. The accident leaves us curious about how Duncan's relationship with Liberty will change and filled with empathy for his plight. It also emphasizes the value of letting people to make their own decisions in matters of the heart, despite criticism from family members. Physical and emotional healing for Duncan continues to be a major topic in the story as it develops.